just to give you a quick imaginary of what it means, this crisis of upward social fantasies of upward social mobility, is that there's a mobility envy. It creates mobility envy. So you have a migrant who comes and moves next to you in Marrickville, in Sydney, and the day they arrive, they had a bike. And you have a Toyota, 1970, not fantastic, but you have a 1970 Toyota that got a bike. Next, the year after, they get a motorbike. And the motorbike is in no way as good as having your Toyota 1970. But you look and you say, they moved from bike to motorbike, and I'm stuck with my Toyota. So the comparison is a comparison of mobility and style. And that's why it wasn't always a question of working class people. It was a question of a variety of classes, but experiencing this sense of stuckedness. And where it became incredibly important, the manifestation of this crisis was in the racism directed very specifically at hospitals. Now, I became very interested in this because, in classical theory and classical philosophy, I'm trained to think in terms of Indo-European categories of division of society. The priest, on one hand, the warrior, on the other, like you can find them in Benveniste, in Dumézil's work, the priest, the warrior, and the cultivator. And in many societies, priesthood or the army are means of upward social mobility for working class people, or peasants, or what have you. And very interestingly, if you look at white supremacists, they have created an alternative means of being priests and warriors. If you look at their websites, etc., this is how they think of themselves: alternative academics, alternative warriors. They haven't joined the army, and they don't have any academic credentials, but they think existing academic credentials are bullshit, and they are warriors. And so they have moved along these means. The only one missing is the healer. Because, unfortunately, they can muck around and act as if they are alternative academics, and they can muck around and act as alternative warriors. But they can't muck around and act as alternative doctors. They have to go to the hospital. And when they go to the hospital, what they see is Asian doctors and nurses. And this became a total obsession, this idea of going to a hospital and saying, what's going on here? Indian doctor, Afghani nurse, what the hell? Sort of like, and this, because the doctor position is really such an important fantasy position of upward social mobility. And the idea that it has been occupied by somebody that should not have occupied it, it's like a blockage. It's like, because it's not that this person thinks this Indian is stopping me from being a doctor. No, what's important is this Indian is stopping me from thinking that we whites will be the doctors. This is what I mean by the breakage in the fantasy of and it is in that process that we have toxic whiteness, warrior whiteness.